Nobody indeed. What is good? Welcome into Driving the Line. My name is Alan Bell. We got a fantastic show lined up for you today. Look at the boys here. My boy Brad, how we doing, man?
Doing great, AB. Got a big weekend of soccer ahead. Just finished on the NFL draft, so now we can talk soccer without any interruptions.
Nice. There we go, man. Greg, what's going down out there in California, man?
It's going good. I got as many calls for a draft pick as Shador did last night, so I'm even happier.
Yeah, they shut that one down, man. Shut that one down. We're going to jump into that. Good to see everyone in the chat popping. Man, it's going to be a good day. It's going to be a great day. All right, now, before we can start said great day, we have to look at how we did yesterday here. And look, offensive players drafted the first round over 15.5. We got that one. Got that one not easily, but kind of easily, man. It worked out well for us there. Oklahoma, Georgia over 11. Got that. Clemson, NC State over 9.5. Smooth pass right, that one. But Clemson loses. All right. And then Georgia loses. All right. So we split there in college baseball. But again, man, a wild start for the college baseball weekend. And, man, it's only going to get better starting tonight. We're going to get into that for sure. But we'll take that one there. All right. So, fellas, we have a Howie Schwab crew play of the day that we need to get to. We got the NBA tonight. Here's what we got. Okay. Polls in the chat. Go ahead and vote it. All right. You going Celtics minus 4.5. You going Magic plus 4.5. You're going to go Lakers plus 3.5 on the road or the Timberwolves minus 3.5 at home. Poll is in the chat. Vote now. Update as we always do at the end of the show. All right, fellas, we got a bunch of picks we got to get to. Man, let's jump right into it. Does that sound good? Sounds good indeed. Let's get it. All right, Greg, my man, you got college baseball, NBA, MLB. Break it down what you got.
Yeah, starting with college baseball today, and obviously the slate will be bigger. Allen will have more plays as well. I'll have more plays as they get revealed. But yeah, great matchups this weekend. Some top 10 combinations, and the first one right here is interesting. You get Texas A&M, who was the preseason number one, going against now Texas, who is number one. Should be fun. I actually had Texas State money line on Tuesday, plus 410, which was disappointing to give up that ninth inning grand slam to lose, but to me, that, showed me a few things from Texas already. Thinking, they've been very pleased with what they've been doing lately. I like how they're finding ways to win. And above all else, the talent is there. They're playing confident. I like what I see. And, they're going to be fired up to play A&M. So I like Texas this weekend. I like Texas tonight. Seemed like a pretty decent number. Same reason with Oregon. They go up against Oregon State. Big boy going against kind of the newbie in town with Oregon, who's only been around for a few years with this program. But the Ducks have been playing great. We've got a future on Oregon in a couple ways to win the conference, to get to the World Series, a couple other spots. I like the Ducks to find a way to pull it out tonight over Oregon State, who's been up and down. They've found ways to win, but I have not been pleased with what I've seen overall from them. Seems like too many of these games have been a struggle. Both games against Gonzaga were a struggle this week. It's going to catch up to them eventually, I think, but I will go with Oregon again today. UC Irvine, I am riding today. We've been all over Cal Poly slow this year. We're jumping the other way. I liked what I saw from Irvine offensively earlier this week against UCLA. I've had questions really about their offense. I've liked everything pitching-wise, defensive-wise. We like what the Anteaters have to offer. We'll take Irvine tonight. Warriors, we're going on the Game 3 home spot. Obviously questions, Butler with the behind and everything going on. But, this is a proven team with enough pieces that I think the Warriors are able to find a way. They continue to beat the Rockets year in, year out when push comes to shove. I think that we're going to find a way again tonight. It's going to be a battle. We saw yesterday with that Game 3s coming back. I think we'll see the same thing again tonight. But I do like the Warriors at a short number. Final spot today, Uvalde, Verlander. I like the Rangers over 7.5. Rangers could have gotten there in the first inning on their own yesterday. They just found a way to screw that one up. I think that they make up for it today. And, I think that Verlander has been great, but I think that he's going to be who we kind of expected him to be as the season goes on. Things come back to the norm in the, as the middle. And I wouldn't be surprised in the slightest if we get this one over. Giants have been scoring well as also. And I think these two teams together are going to put up some decent amount of runs. 7.5 was too low to me.
Yeah, that's a good number to get it at, man. I completely agree with that, right? I like those plays. Texas, I was surprised, man, that money line right there was, so small. Don't get me wrong. A&M, heck of a baseball team, but, man, it's just we were talking about this on the college baseball show this week, me and TJ Parker, that this Friday game is huge for that series because you have all the rivalry, between these two. You've got the coaching staff from A&M that's now at Texas, except for one who went to Texas and then went right back to A&M. Like, the momentum in this, if Texas wins tonight, and especially if Texas wins kind of big tonight, all of that good, positive momentum from A&M could go right down the toilet, and it could be a Texas sweep all weekend. I'm not saying that happens, but I'm saying it could happen. Now, on the opposite side, if A&M, let's just say A&M beats Texas 7-6, right? Like, great game, close, A&M wins. I don't think Texas would be affected. Like, I would have no problem coming right back tomorrow and betting Texas. They're a strong team. They know exactly who they are. They've played well all year. They haven't lost a weekend series all year. You know what I mean? Like, and I'm not saying that as a jinx. I'm just saying that's how good of a baseball team that Texas is. So I agree with you. That's a hell of a price for the money line on that. And keep an eye. If Texas wins and kind of big tonight, they could be a play all weekend, especially if you're getting prices like that. So I like that one for sure. All right. Brad, throwing it over to you, my boy. Soccer, what you got, man?
We're headed to this midday matchup in the Netherlands between Valvik and Utrecht. Over 3, -145. Why do we like this pick specifically? Well, Valvik come in scoring in 78% of their last 41, and specifically 24 of 31 at home. That's trending around 77 to 78%, so just above 3 out of every 4 matches they're scoring. But they're also conceding regularly. 34 of their last 37. That is 92% of the last 37 matches of Valvik they're conceding, but also they're conceding 2+. 2+ in 21 of 29, which is 72%. So above 7 out of every 10, they're conceding multiple. They've hit both teams to score at a good trending rate above 70%. They're hitting over 2.5 in 15 of the last 19 home matches, 79%. So they're trending with their home scoring and conceding and totals. And then you look at that away end. You got Utrecht on that away end scoring in 37 of 42, which is 88%, but they're a double scorer, 2+ in 14 of the last 19 league matches, 75%. So both teams are scoring, both teams are conceding. Utrecht are scoring multiple, Valvik are conceding multiple, and you look at Utrecht specifically, what we love more than anything else is 19 of the last 20 away matches in the league they've conceded, hitting both teams to score in 18 of 19, which is 95%. And when they hit both teams to score, Utrecht, in 20 of their last 21 matches, they shot that over 2.5. So we like that over 3 at -145. Then you look in that matchup history, 11 of the last 12 they've played one another, both teams to score came in. 7 of the last 8 with Valvik at home, 7 of 8 have gone over 2.5. And then over 3.5 has come in 8 of the last 11 over 2.5. So above 73% of those matches. And we're going to be cheering on our man, Sebastian Haller, who is still recently off of testicular cancer, playing today and rounding into form for Utrecht. So we're going to take that over 3 at -145 in this early afternoon matchup between Valvik and Utrecht in the Netherlands Eredivisie.
So, all right, 2 things. Number 1, we are cheering for our boy right there. Number 2, I'm glad that you pronounced those teams because there's not a damn chance in the world. Like, I could have probably got Ben Utrecht out there, but the first one, when you sent that over, I didn't even think that was a word. So that one was tough. Real quick, if everyone could do us a favor, all right, the first 10 minutes of a show, hitting the like button is unbelievably important. If you could do that, if you're on your phone, just pull it down, hit like, pull it right back up. It would mean the world to us, and it's free. It would be fantastic. Sure do appreciate all of that support. Now, getting to mine here, I've got 3 plays. Greg, you're right. We'll be live, obviously, 3 p.m. Eastern today, normal time as we always are. And I'll have plenty of college baseball totals for you. But starting it off here. All right, Celtics, Magic. I'm going over 197. I do think that the Celtics Jason Tatum not going to be in the lineup, but I do think that the Celtics will show up offensively, and with Tatum out, right? Like, I think it changes. Don't get me wrong. The Celtics play defense wherever they go, but I do think that the Magic are going to say, look, we have to score, and that's the only way that we're going to get out of this thing and win one here at home. So the Magic, you're going to see an offensive performance, very aggressive, and I think you'll see it for the Celtics too, and I think they're going to take some threes there. I'm going to play the over 197. All right, now the Pacers and the Bucks, under 230. Again, man, it seems like each night when we have 3 games, we have two unders and an over. I think that this game is going to go under. I think that we're going to see the Bucks try to shut down on defense. Now, good luck doing that, but I do think we're going to see spurts in this game to where it will be a little bit slower in terms of scoring. So I'm going to roll the under 230 there. And then finally, our man, Luka, over 3.5 threes. And I'll say this in the chat. Let me see if I can find it here. Yeah, Justin said it best. Luka, first quarter points, not missed yet. Lakers like to let him get going early and often. Completely agree. And that's why I like this over 3.5 threes. I mean, he's normally getting, you're going to get 8 to 10 shots, and I think you're going to get a few more tonight. But I like Luka to come out of the gate hot. I think that's kind of their only option as well. So we're going to roll over 3.5 threes on that. Now, a couple things in the chat here real quick. Excuse me. Mad boy. So Greg on today, I want to mention, we're checking out that future we placed on UTSA. How we feeling about that one, Greg?
I mean, I'm not complaining. It's been really interesting to say the least this year. I mean, we've obviously gotten, the big boys at the top, but, we were just talking about Texas State, and we rode Texas State last week. We had a max play against them. They've beaten multiple number ones now in the season and multiple, top 25s. It's fun at the beginning of the year when you're able to, kind of forecast where things are going and how they're lining up. And, finding that long-term value, especially in college baseball, is so big. You don't know who you're going to get in 2 months. These same guys may not even be in the starting lineup. And especially with some of these, mid-conference teams and, spots in the middle of the country that not everybody's always paying attention to, there's great value. So I'm happy with where things are going. I'm hoping Oregon can pick up the pace a little more. We're excited for them in the Big Ten, but we'll see where it goes. And College World Series is going to be a lot of fun this year. I think we could have some interesting pieces that possibly find their way in there.
Oh, we definitely do, man. And the transfer portal, has changed college baseball in terms of there's a lot more, good solid teams, man. You see parity. We've seen the same thing in college basketball. We see the same thing in college football. Baseball's no different, man. Got to give a shout out here real quick. Excuse me. Justin, first off, good morning. Good to see you, buddy. 2, cash a plus 500 OKC live last night. Well freaking done, my man. Well freaking done indeed. Thank you so much for hitting the like button. Look, we just jumped up 70 viewers in that time period. Like, please, if you haven't hit the like button. It absolutely matters for us. And I won't hammer on that. I hate those shows that every 2 minutes, it's like a smash that subscribe button, and all that. Like, I'm not going to do that one. But the like, it is unbelievably important. So if you can hit that for us, man, that'd be great. All right. So jumping out of the picks here. All right. Let's get to the NFL draft first. Okay. So here is the order. Let me see that. Pull it back up. There you go.
Throwback Titans.
There we go. I like that one. So last night, we had the NFL draft. Falcons did really well going after the guys that they wanted in regards to the defensive line. Cam Ward, number 1 to the Titans. I mean, that, no surprise there. The big trade. All right. 5-2, the Jaguars move up and give a haul to Cleveland to get that number 2 spot and pick up Travis Hunter. Brad, any thoughts that you had on that?
I mean, that's a typical Browns thing to do is kind of give up a lot to get something that they like. So hopefully that turns out well. Travis Hunter, absolute stud personality. Let's just hope that his off the field doesn't get in the way of his on the field in the same way that Sanders is seemingly doing right now.
Yeah, man, it was big. Greg, man, your thoughts on the draft as a whole? Like, and I'll pull this back up here 1 second. What did you see? I mean, we saw, Ashton Jeanty go to the Raiders, which, again, made sense. You got Geno Smith and you got Pete Carroll. Of course, Pete Carroll wants to run the football. But yeah, I mean, your thoughts as a whole, man. We see, Jackson Dart go to the Giants, and no Shador Sanders, right? So, Greg, what are your thoughts there? Just on it.
Yeah,
Any of
yeah.
it
I mean,
all?
it was not a ton of shocks. I mean, you have the wide receiver from Arizona that got a little earlier than expected, but overall, for the most part, I would say that it was kind of where we expected baseline with the draft. I do like what the Browns did. I think that it was a mature move with where they are and what they're able to get out of it. And we talked about in basketball terms the other day with the Bucks not getting a first round pick for 45 years here, and how you can really cause yourself a lot of drama down the long stretch if you're not specific and really plan this thing out correctly. So there's two ways to look at it, and I disagree with the Jags. I think that they, continue to try to make a splash. And how's that Trevor Lawrence play working out for you? So, there's lots of different ways to go about it. But, at the same time, the draft is interesting. It really is a lot of guessing. And even the smartest guys out there, you're listening to them all night. To listen Mel Kiper hyping down Shador Sanders and over and over and over and over and over again. How'd that go? So it's an imperfect science, and that's kind of what makes it fun. It's first time I've sat there and watched the entire first round from start to finish. Went over to my parents, and my mom and I sat there and watched the whole thing together. And it was, it was kind of entertaining. It was half of intrigued to see who's going to go, and almost more fun to see if Sanders wasn't going to go, just to be honest, for a while there. The surrounding with what he's done with himself was interesting and kind of plays the villain role, I guess you could say. But I'm excited for what today could bring and where the weekend's going to go. It was great for Green Bay. I think it was really exciting for that whole community, and a ton of revenue as well for them. And I think it was kind of an interesting move, but successful with no snow and no terrible weather over there to move it up into Wisconsin and rotate it.
Yeah, I mean, look, the NFL always wins. The NFL always wins, man. It always works out for them. I'm with you now. Let's take a look here. Going off of what you said here, here is the order for tonight in the second round. So you see, I mean, the Browns, they've got the first pick, the second round. They got the fourth pick in the second round, and they've got more. What do the Browns do up there? Where does Shador go? You look at the Pittsburgh Steelers with defense, did not draft a quarterback as some had thought that they would. So do they trade up or do they just stick with what they've got, right? So here's the the order for the second round. Hold on, sorry, wrong one. All right, now here are the best available players. So you see Will Johnson in Michigan, Mike Green, edge at Marshall. You see, look, Trevion Henderson, running back for Ohio State. Fascinated to see where he goes. You see Shador Sanders there for Colorado. Yeah, I mean, Shador's gonna go, but I mean, I throw it to you guys. Like, I don't know where. Like, I honestly don't know where. Do you guys have any thoughts of where Shador could go?
Yeah, I think he'll go to the Rams.
Yeah,
I think the Rams will be the move that he'll end up getting to. But hey, maybe the Raiders end up taking him. So you just never know with where this could go and what kind of phone calls and conversations have been had in the last 12 hours. So just like we said, it's an imperfect science, but I wouldn't be surprised if he went to the Rams.
Yeah. And you know what? It appears that the Rams were going to take Jackson Dart last night. The Giants traded up to get ahead and get him. And then they immediately traded out. Like, yep. I think that they absolutely were. Brad, any thoughts, man? Shador, anybody else, anything you see?
I mean, I'm not going to say he doesn't remind me a little bit of Johnny Manziel. So I wouldn't necessarily be that surprised if the Browns took him just because they're such a wild card team and they do things that you don't always understand. But they have that Raiders connection as well with Tom Brady. So there's a lot of people who are talking about that. He could slip, and maybe that might be a destination that they would scoop him up later on. Other than that, man, I feel bad for the guy. I hate seeing a really top talent slip like that, lose momentum. Other than that, those are really the only two teams that I can see that make any bit of sense. So those are two for me.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. And I kind of had the same thoughts that, like, number one, Will Johnson, from Michigan, the corner. Surprised that he fell out of the first round, but I mean, it happens. But yeah, I mean, it's all eyes on Shador, and then you also have Jalen Milroe, the quarterback from Alabama, who is still available as well. I people were shocked that he didn't go in the first round. Did you watch him? Like, I don't know. Like, we'll see on Milroe. But now, it's not always a bad thing to go late in the first round or out of the first round, because now you could find yourself in just a good spot, right? So, we'll see for sure. All right, so that's the NFL. We'll talk more about that 3 p.m. Eastern today, driving the Nightline. But we've got the NBA. We got 3 games tonight. All right, 6 p.m. These times are Central. 7 p.m. Eastern. We've got Celtics and the Magic. Celtics 4.5-point favorite. A total 197 and a half. Pacers and the Bucks at 8 p.m. Eastern. Bucks 5.5-point favorite. Total of 230 and a half. And then 9:30 p.m. Eastern, we got the Lakers and the Timberwolves late game. Timberwolves at home, series tied 1-1. Timberwolves 3.5-point favorite and a total of 206 and a half. So throw this question to both of you guys here. Okay. Greg, I'll start with you. If you had to take one spread or one total off this list for tonight, where would you go?
I think I would stick with Boston at the low number. I think that having that break without Tatum now, I think this team is so deep that you can restructure a little bit and run things, through Brown, through a couple other guys. And as long as defense and focus stays on top, which we've seen the Celtics team get lackadaisical. They kind of just dick around at times for a while. And I think that, with a guy like Tatum out, who's such a leader and such a scorer, I think that it really can bring them together a little bit more. So, you look from afar, if you look at this team, even without Tatum, and you said, hey, Celtics win by 5, you're probably going to take that. I mean, quite frankly. And I think that motivated, playoff time, they want to get through this series too. They want rest. I mean, there's so many of these first rounds that you want to bang through it and be done with it. And I think that even without him, I still think that number is a little bit too low. So Celtics minus 4.5 would be it.
All right. Same question to you, Brad. A spread or a total? What do you like?
I'm going to piggyback off my guy, Greg. Unfortunately, I like to take the opposite side just to be a square in that way. But the Celtics, I think they're just too good. Even without Tatum, there's just too many players that are just deep. They have great camaraderie. They shoot the three well. They defend well. They rebound. They pass. I mean, what don't they do? I'm going to take the Celtics minus 4.5. I think they lose game 4 or won't cover game 4, depending on what that spread is. I think tonight, though, they get it done.
There we go. For me, again, look, I already took 2 totals here. But I really like that Celtics Magic over 197 and a half. I think that, again, like the guy said, I agree that the Celtics are going to come out and look, man, like they're going to fire. But I think that the Magic understand, like the same thing we talked about with Memphis, the Grizzlies last night, coming before the game, right? Coming into it, that I mean, this is it. Like, the Grizzlies go home, all right, down 0-2. And it's like, dude, if you're down 0-3, I mean, you're toast. So yeah, the Grizzlies did not win, but look at the point total, right? I mean, it way like they looked as best as they did this entire series. Now, didn't work for them because the Thunder are unbelievable. But I think the same thought process here for the Magic. It's like, dude, if you go down 0-3, you lose this game when you're at home, you're smoked. You're absolutely smoked, right? So, again, I don't know. The Magic going to win the game, but I do think you're going to see points there. And I think, you'll see points from the Celtics. Like, they've got other dudes than Tatum. Don't be wrong. Jason Tatum's one of the best players in the league, but it's not like these other guys can't ball. So, I like that over there. Now, let's jump into it here. So, game 1, okay? We're gonna play a game through all these, and I think you guys have played it. You guys have seen it. Now, first off, player prop point totals. All right, Celtics and the Magic. So, throw it over to you guys to pick one that you like. Could be an over, could be an under, right? You can go either side here. Greg, I'll throw it to you first, man. What sticks out? Which do you like the most?
I think Derek White over 16.5 points. I think that he's in a really good position where he's not only in a position to take over, but kind of at certain points, I think he has to be the guy a little bit. Obviously, like we talked about without Tatum out there, Brown, obviously with the higher number, but it's going to take a lot of a defensive effort at the same time without somebody like Tatum in there. So I like Derek White. I've liked him at other times. I think this is a good spot for him. I really do think that the number is right around where it should be, but I wouldn't be surprised if White goes off early a couple spots. He's going to get fed. The Celtics have no problem finding those guys at times. We've seen it with even people like Horford, where if you're hot, they'll keep finding you over and over and over again. There's other questions. I just saw it as well. I was going to say it. Questions as well with Holiday still too. So I think that White, kind of has to be the guy and could be the guy tonight.
Yeah, that's a good look. White is definitely a good look. Brad, throw it over to you, man. What do you see?
Yeah, I think they're a bit of a three-headed monster without Tatum, with Brown, Porzingis, and Derek White kind of picking up the scoring. You got to love Jaylen Brown, especially without Tatum. He has to be that go-to guy. But I really like him dumping it off to Porzingis. I feel like he's got a stroke right now, and they need scoring from a big man. They got a lot of guards who can put the ball on the floor, but he is kind of their unique asset. So let's take Kristaps Porzingis just to get 20 points.
You know what? That's where I was going to go. I was going to go Kristaps. Like, he did not shoot well from three in game two. I think that changes. That's a great pick. I'm going to go Derek White. Look, Jaylen Brown as well. Is a solid look over 23.5, but I like White over 16.5. I think that's a good number there. It's very attainable, and they're going to need him, right? So, Jaylen Brown or Derek White, I think are both good options there, but I'll go White. Okay, now, same game and same game we play. You got to pick one, over or under. All right, these are three-pointers. Celtics, Magic. All right. Greg, throw it back to you, man. What do you see?
I mean, I got to go with my favorite name in the NBA, and Kentavious Caldwell-Pope. Just a fabulous, fabulous name. But unfortunately for him, I got to lean the under. Big juice to it, but under 1.5 threes, Kentavious Caldwell-Pope. I got no faith in him to put one through the hoop, let alone two. And problems across the board with this Magic team at times scoring. They're going to have to put up points, and I just worry he's not going to get the opportunity. I do not expect him to make 2 threes tonight.
There you go. Brad?
Let's go with the under on Derek White at 3.5. I think gives us a lot of leeway. He can get 3, he can get to the bucket, he can get fouled, but not to get that 4th 3. I don't think they necessarily need it from him. So let's go under 3.5 threes.
I like it. Look, I'm gonna go Jaylen Brown, and look, we played this 3 prop on what was it, Wednesday, and dude was money, absolute money. Over 1.5. I'll roll with that, man. -130. Happy to pay that juice there. Yeah, definitely take that one. Okay, so jumping to the next game that we see right here. All right, Pacers at the Bucks. Now, take a look at the size of depth and talent, like between these 3 games, right? Like, you see the dudes that are offering. I mean, there's a lot of studs on both of these teams. All right. So points wise, Greg, I'll throw it over to you first, man. Pacers, Bucks. What do you like?
Brook Lopez over 8.5 points. I think the number is a little low. I think the surroundings going to be Dame time and Giannis. And I think that the ability to get rebounds, he steals an offensive rebound or 2, gets a putback, couple block shots here, get a foul, couple free throws. 8.5 points is not unreasonable for a guy who's going to need to be in there for pretty decent minutes. So give me the ex-Stanford Cardinal, Brook Lopez, over 8.5.
The Cardinal, indeed. Brad, what do you like?
Give me Damian Lillard over 21.5. He's going to get there 22 plus. He'll probably be near 30.
There we go. You know what? I'm going Pascal Siakam. I'm going look, dude, over 19.5, -130, a little juiced, but he's a stud, absolute stud. And I think that you're going to see, like, again, I'm playing the under of 230 in this game, but you're going to see the stars in this game ball out. Like I think that this is a game where the top 3 dudes, right, on each side are a good look, because these teams don't change who they are, and they have scorers and they trust their guys, right? So look, I'm gonna go Siakam here over 19.5. All right, flipping it over to threes. Greg, throw it over to you, man. What do you see?
Again, I mean, I'll jump right on with Brad where he was kind of going with it. It's way too juicy, so I guess I got to give 2 of them. I would Dame over 2.5, but minus 175 to me is just not in my range that I would advertise to people. So that's not my world. If I had to take another one, I would probably lean. You know what? Give me 1-3 from Kevin Porter Jr. tonight. I don't think that's unrealistic. One shot, one make. All it takes is 1 at this point, and you know where the attention is going to be on a couple of these guys. So I think I'll head that direction with it for just that 1-3.
All right, Brad, what do you like?
I think I'm going to take the plus money with the Greek Freak. Give me an ugly looking 3-pointer at plus 140.
You know what? That's where I was going to go. And I'll tell you this. That's an excellent play, because Giannis generally puts up, I don't know, 3, maybe 4 threes in a game, on average, right? But his last game, game 2, he didn't put up a single one. And again, not saying that, he's out here firing threes like he's James Harden, but just the law of averages, you're going to get some opportunities. And to get 1 at plus 140, I like it. But since you took that one, I'll take a look at a different side here. And I think Justin said it. Yep. Just said in the chat. Give me big Brook Lopez, man. Over 1.5 at plus 155. I'm going to roll with that one. All right. Now, final game we have tonight. Lakers at the Timberwolves. Series tied 1-1. Player points here. Greg, I'll throw it over to you, man. What do you see?
This is going to be an interesting one tonight. I hate looking at Luka. I'm going to go LeBron. I think over 22.5 is a pretty reasonable number for him tonight. And I'm a LeBron hater as much as the next guy, as I hate to say it, but I think that 22.5 is a pretty reasonable number. Playoff time, Luka time. Between these two, I wouldn't be surprised if we get a big number from the big boys. So give me over 22.5.
There we go. Brad?
I'll take the under on the worst offensive player on this list. Rudy Bear, go Bear. Give me that under 9.5.
Okay, there we go. Look, I'm going to go with your boy Rui Hachimura over 11.5 points, plus 100. I think that he's going to get some threes tonight. I think that he's going to have an opportunity. Like, the guy could shoot. I like him. Dorian Finney-Smith over 6.5 is a good look. That's an attainable number for a guy who will get minutes. But give me big Rui, man. Like, this kid is fun, and I enjoy watching him play. He's aggressive, but he's smart. He's intelligent in the shots that he does put up. But yeah, man, like, I'm gonna go Rui here, 11.5. All right, flipping it over to threes. All right, Greg, throw it to you first. What do you like?
I mean, I'll bank off with you. I think that Luka has to go off tonight. I think he's got to get his shot. Give me over 3.5 threes, even though it's a big number. Wouldn't be surprised if they're feeding him at times. And if he makes a couple, they're going to keep giving him the ball over and over and over. So wouldn't surprise me. It's plus money, not the greatest number in the world, but at the same time, it is plus money. So give me the over 3.5 at, I guess, even number.
Yeah, and especially with this team, Minnesota at home. How strong defensively that they are, you're going to get a lot more outside shots tonight from Los Angeles. So I'm with you on that one. Why I played it. Brad, what do you see here?
I think I'll take the under on Julius Randle. I think he might take some shots, but he's just not a good shooter to me. I don't like his form. I don't like what he does when he's on the court very much. So give me under Julius Randle.
Under on Randall, yeah. I'm gonna go Luka. Obviously, I bet it. He's just you're gonna get the opportunities. Like you're just gonna get the opportunities, and you might get them even more. Justin brings up a good point, man. Julius Randle here, dude. Like, look, it is fascinating rolling that over under of 1.5. That's a bet right there. That's a bet. Over under 1.5. Both, juice prices attractive. Yeah, but I'm gonna go Luka, man. I'll roll with him over 3.5. Okay, so let's do this. All right, so we hit our NBA games tonight. For anybody who may have came in a little bit later and didn't see the picks, let's go back over those. So, Greg, I thought you first. What you got, buddy?
College baseball today. We're on Texas Longhorns money line going against Texas A&M, former number 1 versus current number 1. Oregon versus Oregon State. We're jumping on the Ducks today. We are taking Oregon money line, and Irvine going down to Cal Poly Slow. We are on the Anteaters. We're taking UC Irvine today at a decent number. The Warriors -2 this weekend. We're taking them in game 3. And then the MLB play for us right now today is the Rangers Giants over 7.5.
There we go. Bradley, what do you got, buddy?
We are headed to that 11:45 a.m. Central Time matchup in the Netherlands, the Dutch League, the Eredivisie top flight, in a matchup between Valvik and Utrecht, over 3 at -145.
There we go. All right, I'm on the Celtics Magic over 197 tonight. Pacers Bucks under 230, and then Luka Doncic over 3.5 threes at -105. Now I got a question here. Greg, throw it over to you, man. What do you think about this? Millsy says, saw Iowa currently projected as a 3 seed, even though they're leading the Big Ten currently. Really? And they had them in the Regional on top of it. Good God. I'll throw it over to you first, Greg. Like, what are your thoughts here?
I mean, projection is a 3. We'll see what happens in a few weeks. But at the same time, I mean, it's hard to, for one, too, you need to look at where the draw is going to be. It's like basketball, too. I mean, aren't they always looking, if push comes to shove, they're going to find the place that draws better, that draws more consistently, more fans, more money, more, advertising, more everything that comes with it. I'm surprised where Iowa is right now. I mean, we had Oregon to win the Big Ten, so a little bit surprised where Iowa is right now. But, we'll see. You think that Iowa should necessarily host? I'm trying to think right now. Who was it last year? It wasn't Illinois State. Who was it the Sycamores that last year that didn't have a big enough stadium so they couldn't host the Super Regional?
Yeah, Indiana State.
That's who it was, yeah.
Yep.
So kind of an example like this. It's, not quite the same size, but when there's push comes to shove, they're always going to take the more notarized program, Texas being, who we know as Texas, plus the number 1 in the country. Hopefully, though, Iowa gets a little leniency and gets to move somewhere else in the country instead of congratulations on winning the Big Ten. Here you go. Go face number 1 now in the first game and see how it goes for you.
Congrats. Now we'll feed you to Texas, right?
Yeah.
Look, I think Kevin, brought it up, and it is real. RPIs, definitely pay attention to them because they absolutely matter. And again, it's just a projection right now. We've got so much that's going to change. We got, 4 weekends left of the regular season and then conference tournaments. And then we'll, get the regionals that will be announced. But, I think what you said, Greg, I think Kevin right here. And look, I'm not agreeing with it, that Iowa, would be that far down. I think that just looking at it right now, it goes to show you, look how many teams are good, man. Like, and the other issue for Iowa or any, kind of anybody else is that, I mean, number 1, you look at how many SEC teams are good, right? You look at the ACC, how many teams you got there. But the big thing is going to be pretty, a lot of it out in the West Coast. You see teams like UC Irvine. All right. You see teams like UC Santa Barbara. You see teams, like a Dallas Baptist.
Cal Poly's having the best year in 25 years.
Exactly. Right. Like that's the tough part about college baseball is that, it's a lot of, conferences and teams that people don't necessarily pay a ton of attention to that are just going to mathematically move you down. You know what I mean? And with Iowa, we haven't talked about them as being a top 25 team this year, right? So again, they're good, but there's a lot of teams that are, a Western Kentucky. You know what I mean? Like you have, Greg, it, you played it, right? Like remind them, where did you play? And these teams, like there are real talent and teams that have been in the top 25 that people might not play. But, this is one sport where conferences, yeah, it does matter, but it doesn't matter. Like there's a lot of good teams.
Yeah, and that's a big reason, a big proponent why we attack dogs during the weekdays. Or it's important. It's RPI like we talked about. It's big for these teams, but the bigger conferences are getting their RPI anyways during the weekends, playing the big boys. These the Texas States, the UNC Wilmingtons, the FAUs, FIUs, everybody that gets consistently to play against Miami and Florida State, and those games are huge. They win one or two of those, they have an opportunity in the postseason. And there's so many different ways to attack how college baseball works. And betting on the weekend versus betting on the weekdays in college baseball is like night and day. It's completely different, and you need to know what you're looking for. And one sport to the next, it's just so different. Baseball is so unique, especially in college baseball. There's just so much fluidity at times and so much chaos at other times where, look out to Texas A&M being the perfect example. I mean, look where they started the season, fall out of the rankings. Now they're working their way back up. I mean, it's a brutal sport at times. And especially when you're playing in a conference as strong as the SEC, the ACC, some of these, there just are no, giveaway games. Every single weekend is an absolute battle. And if you don't bring your game, you're going to get swept. And things fall quickly.
Yeah, no, you're right, man. And Mills, yeah, no, totally. Like saying, I'm not suggesting they host regional. I think they've released it to one of the easier regionals. Yeah, and Greg hinted on this, and Mills, yeah, I agree. Like, totally understood where you're coming from, and it's a great question. What will help Iowa is what Greg just said, is that these final 4 weekends against Big Ten talent, conference tournament against Big Ten talent, like it'll grow. You stack wins these last 4 weekends and in the conference tournament, it's going to skyrocket, right? So, I totally got what you were saying, and we are, saying the same thing, right? Like, if Iowa handles its business, like you'll see a huge jump for sure, man. So, yeah, good question. I mean, great question, man. Indeed. All right, Brad, we haven't let you break down any soccer. All right, so we're going to get to Major League Baseball. We got home runs. We've got Paul Skeens is on the mound today. We got all kinds of Major League Baseball and college baseball we're going to take a look at. But soccer-wise, my boy, all right, what do we need to know? It's Friday. You've got to bet on an early game today, all right? But what are we looking at today, Saturday, Sunday? Like, what should, rooks like me, what do we need to know about betting soccer this weekend?
Well, if you need to know anything, be careful with some of those matchups today, especially this really appetizing matchup with PSG facing Nice at home in the French League today. We saw PSG last time out play Nantes up 1-0 until late, giving up a goal, tying 1-1. Typically, you'll see PSG run the score up. They're an over squad. They score multiple goals. They have better players. They are a much more dominant team than anybody in the league. But what we have right now with PSG is I've mentioned this before, and same thing with Arsenal. They are playing in the UCL early next week, and they had a matchup a few days ago. They have a matchup today, and they're going to be turning around in a few days and playing another one. So you could see some rotated lineups. If there are teams that are not playing next week, you're fine. But if you do have these teams who are still littering with this cup slate, just be careful. You're just not going to get the same type of production that you're used to. There's just complacency involved. You saw it with Arsenal tying 2-2 against Crystal Palace late as well earlier in the midweek. Those are the type of fixtures I've been talking about constantly. Now, any more final thoughts before we get to the soccer? I did want to say, AB, this is probably the best thing for Shedeur Sanders. I know going back to the NFL, making sure that maybe the chip that he has gets knocked down a little bit. Maybe this is going to have to cause him to work a little harder, to put his head down, buckle in, and that might be the best thing for such a talented, athletic human. Now, soccer, what we have on the board here today, not next week, but about a week and a half the following Wednesday, there's Norway Cup. We've talked about the Danish Cup. We've talked about a number of cups. What you've seen in these early cups is you've just seen goals. You'll see a lot of different talent. You'll see these lower league teams at home, sometimes away, but mostly at home, facing against these top level talent. And when you have that, There's just too much differentiation, and that top level talent wins. You can see that right here in the goals. If you're looking at betting on the Norway Cup, you sure as heck don't want to be dropping in on that BTTS. It's hitting less than 50%. But that over 2.5 is hitting at 75-ish%. So 3 out of every 4 matches in that Norway Cup are shooting the over, whereas the both teams' scores not hitting. I've mentioned those two numbers are very correlated, but also sometimes they're just not correlated. So you need to make sure that you're taking the right bet. If you're looking at the Norway Cup, make sure you're placing that over, not the both teams to score. We have league action coming in this weekend. We've got MLS, Liga MX. You've got a lot of leagues that are just slowing down. They'll be in their championship rounds. So those are some testy ones. If you see teams later in their league, last few matches, maybe look to where they are in the table, because that could dictate what type of performance that they give. And this is the time of year where all these new leagues are coming back. I've mentioned Iceland, I've mentioned Norway, I've mentioned Sweden, I've mentioned a whole number of these leagues. Be careful. We're just turning the corner to get into a better position with all these big leagues starting to taper down. And, these big leagues have a lot of eyes. They have a lot of money, which means a lot of movement in these lines to be very, very sharp. These smaller leagues tend to have a lot more value. So we'll be attacking those here in the near future.
Well done, buddy. Well done. As always, well done. I mean, my goodness, man, you're just an absolute stud on this information. That helps for sure. Now, one thing real quick, we're going to get to Major League Baseball. Tizzle, worst part of the draft is Twitter having the picks dropped 5 minutes before they're announced. You want to hear an inside baseball story on this? You want to know how this works? Because I've been around it, okay? So I used to work CBS Sports. Work 24/7 sports. Been around it. We used to work the NFL for a team. All right. So how this operates is yes. All right. Reporters that are there have the pick way ahead, because if you notice, all right, especially in the first round, okay, you'll see the pick is in, right? Like the Titans, it took them 7 seconds to turn. That card was filled out before it started, right? The Giants moving up. They knew who they were going to get. Like, you don't trade up in the first round and then you're like, oh, what do we do, right? So how that works, and especially in the first round, is, it's all timed. Look at the Eagles last night. When the Eagles traded from 32 to 31, okay, they turned the card in immediately. All right, you saw it. The pick is in. Well, ESPN was interviewing the previous player, who had gotten drafted, then went to a commercial break, then came back to talk about, I'm not sure what, and then Roger Goodell came up. So what I'm getting at is that it's all timed, but how the NFL operates is that they will tell large media companies, do not tip picks. So when you see reporters that are tipping the picks, they're not from ESPN. They're not from the NFL Network. They're not from CBS Sports. They're not from, NBC Sport. Like, these large media, like, literally, it was an edict every time the draft was there when I was at CBS that our big, big bosses, right, would tell all of us in no hidden terms, do not tip the damn picks. Do not be one of these. Now, I'm not saying it's wrong. It is what it is. And you're not going to tell. Some people just aren't going to listen. But yeah, so it's fascinating that you brought that up. I've been in this world, and these large companies tell them, because it affects the coverage. It affects how people watch the draft, right? And the NFL wants it to be, the product that they like. They like the drama. They like the anticipation, right? So it's funny that you brought that up, because it's absolutely a thing. Now, the second round edict still in place, media wise. Okay, third round and on, do whatever you want. We don't really care, right? Because it's going, and you'll see the picks come in quicker. But if you wanted to know, like, inside media of how that works, the NFL absolutely tells large media companies, do not tip these. Even Schefter knows, you know what I mean? But he's not doing it. It was generally independent media people and, for companies that might not be, as large. So I always find it fascinating every year because some people like it. Like, why hold the information? You know what I mean? And other people they don't want it. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, for sure. The NFL, yeah, and they don't lose. Like, you know what I mean? Like, and the way that the NFL will handle that is, they'll, I mean, they're not going to mess with the TV deals and all the money that's involved in that, but they will mess with your access and they will let your ass know that they're not happy with you. You know what I mean? Which sounds like a parent, but you listen. You know what I'm saying? When it's the NFL, you listen. So, dude, it's absolutely phenomenal. I'm glad that you brought that up, Tizzle, because that literally was an absolute edict that would come down from people that have commas in their paychecks. You know what I'm saying? Like in their salaries, they've got 2 commas, in their annual. So yeah, when that came down, it's people that generally didn't talk to us too terribly much, but you saw that name in the email. You're like, oh, I don't want to be in trouble with this guy. So yeah, 100%, man. Yep. Kirk absolutely is. It absolutely is. It is definitely a part of it. So pay attention to it, man. And the people that you see that are doing it. So, all right. So let's get into some Major League Baseball. All right. Weather that we need to know today. Phillies and the Cubs here. Little tough indeed. All right. Wind blowing in. Blue Jays and the Yankees. Wind blowing sideways. All right. Now, it could be good. Left-handed pull hitters. You don't have a lot of temperature there. But it's not bad. I mean, 65 degrees northeast, at night. 60 degrees feels like. Not bad at all. Now, let's play. That's really all that we need to know in regards to weather. There's really nothing great. So you saw the first one, that one's tough. But again, I mean, I'll go back to it one more time. That is blowing heavily in. It's cold, and you've got a little bit of a chance of precipitation. Rain's not going to help. Rain's not going to be that large. Like, you might not even have any. But the fact that it's just kind of sitting there, it's going to be overcast. It's going to be cold. Be careful in that game. All right, let's play our favorite game here. Okay, home runs. All right. I think we got some interesting names on this list today. Top 5. Aaron Judge, plus 175. Could be a day for the big dog. Julio Rodriguez, plus 400. Ellie De La Cruz, plus 450. You see him pictured there. Jose Ramirez, plus 450. Marcus Semien, plus 650 on your list. And look, yeah, Tizzle said it best right there. Weather and aces today. Absolutely. You see it across the board here. All right, so I'll pull it down. Let's see. Brad, go first, buddy. Who you like? You're bouncing. You're ready to go.
Give me that Jose Ramirez, plus 450.
I like it. We need to get you singing more, too. Greg, who you like?
Ellie De La Cruz. I love him in Colorado today. And, swinging the bat well. Hit home run swing right now, too. He's got some depth to it and putting the ball over the fence. And we know what happens in Colorado. So, plus 450 for him there is a good number.
There we go. I like it, man. I mean, it's impossible for me to go against Aaron Judge. I get it at plus 175. I totally understand it. at plus 175. I'll say this. Look, I'm going Judge. That's my pick. But if I had to take someone else, Marcus Semien at plus 650 is not a bad look. Not a bad look at all. But again, look, I'll take the 175. I'll take it. Give me Aaron Judge. I totally get it. All right, now looking at our hitter and pitcher historicals here, and I'll pull this up full screen. Okay, Aaron Judge against Berrios. 5 bombs. All right, Aaron Judge has gotten after him. 34 at-bats, 13 hits. Now, take a look here. What I also want you to see, look at the plate appearances and at-bats for Judge. Okay, you see that difference? You know what that is? Walks. Aaron Judge for a walk today could be a solid bet. And if you take it for a home run, I don't know what the price is on him getting a walk, but it could be not only a good bet, but it could be a good insurance play if you do take him for a home run. Just Aaron Judge, keep an eye there. Okay. Keep going down the list. You see Travis Deneau against Pablo Lopez, man. 3 bombs, 14 at bats, 14 plate appearances, no walks, 5 hits. Solid there. Dude's hitting what, 350? You see Trent Grisham there on Barrios, 2 home runs in 7 at bats. It's the only thing he's gotten hits on. 2 hits, 7 at bats, 2 home runs. All right, look at Yaz, Mike Yastrzemski there against Nathan Eovaldi, 2 home runs in 5 at bats, same deal. He's got 2 hits off of them, both of them home runs. Okay. And keep going down the list. You can see it, man. You see Marcus Semien there against Verlander, a lot of at bats. That's good, man. No walks in 49 plate appearances against Verlander. 0 walks. 14 hits, man. 2 home runs. Yeah, you can totally see it there. And Jose Ramirez, you see it down there at the bottom for sure. Oh, and you saw Julio Rodriguez against Cal Quantrill. 11 at bats, 6 hits, 2 home runs. Not bad indeed. Now, let's look at the inverse here. All right. No home runs, but we just want to take a look at, plate appearances, hits, averages, guys that could be good plays for other styles of prop bets, or look at the pitcher, right? So go down the list. You see Cabrera there for the Yankees. 6 hits off 16 at bats. Solid. You see Jose Altuve against Seth Lugo. Marcell Ozuna against Zach Gallen. Yeah. Just take a look here. You see Jose Barrios' name pop up a lot in regards to these lists. Now, all right, taking a look at players and hitting streaks currently. Bobby Witt Jr., 16 straight damn games with a hit. Your boy is getting it. Jeremy Pena on this list constantly. Wagaman, 11 straight games. Duran, 11 straight games. Bomb, 10. All right, he continues to get hits, man. Ellie De La Cruz, 8 straight games with a hit. Matt Olson, 8 straight games with a hit. I mean, you could see it. Take a look at this list, Greg. What pops out to you, man? What do you see?
I mean, it's impressive to see, the young talent. Above all else, I'm just happy to see some of these young guys that, continue to have success. We've expected so much from Witt, and it's fun to see the consistency that he's had. But it's interesting. The one disappointing thing I'd see on there is Joey Bart. Such a high expectation guy for the Giants for so many years, and happy to see him still in the league. But disappointed that he wasn't ever able to truly be the guy. But jumping back on that same side, extremely pleased with what Matt Olson's, with what Chapman's provided this year, and a couple great spots with the Giants. Really pleased through a couple weeks with what I've seen from SF, and what's going to be a really, really strong Western division.
Yep, agreed. Brad, anything you see on here? Does our boy Bobby Witt, right? Like, I mean, you see it. Does Gold? Okay, that's the question. Paul Goldschmidt of the Yankees. Does he get a hit today?
I think so, but if you're looking at anybody, Gavin Lux, man, 15 hits, 31 at bats, and 7 walks. That's on base 22 times and 38 at bats. Wow. I mean, that is above 50%. How can you not like that number? And Goldie looks pretty solid as well. Those are some great numbers with Lux and Goldie.
Yep, it is, man. And, pitching matchups. What do we have today? The Dodgers and the Pirates. Is that right? We've got the Dodgers facing Paul Skeens. Woo. Dude, got to be money, man. Got to be a good one. All right, so let's hit our picks one more time. Then we'll hit the Howie Schwab. Then we'll jump out of here. We've gone an hour. Hard to believe. Greg, what you got, buddy?
College baseball today. We're on Texas money line. We are on Oregon money line. We're on the UC Irvine Anteaters money line. We're on game 3 with the Warriors at -2. And today we are taking that over, as we just talked about totals and hitting. And we're taking the over 7.5 with Rangers Giants today.
Brad, what you got, buddy?
That 11:45 Central Time matchup in the Dutch Netherlands Eredivisie in a matchup between Valvik and Utrecht. We're taking that over 3 at -145. 3 goals gives us a push. 4 goals gives us a full cash.
Yeah, boy. Yeah. And look, Liddy said it best. Look, the Pirates are facing Yamamoto. Like, that is a hell of a pitching matchup in this game. Absolutely, dude. I'm going with the Celtics Magic over 197, Pacers Bucks under 230, and then Luka Doncic over 3.5 threes. All right. We will be live today at 3 p.m. Eastern, normal time. Plenty more college baseball, NBA, Major League Baseball, you name it. Now, Howie Schwab, crew play of the day. You have chosen the Celtics minus 4.5 at 54%. And the crew feeling the Celtics tonight at minus 4.5. Second place was the Timberwolves at minus 3.5. All right. Any final thoughts before we get out of here? Brad, what you got?
If I had any final thought, it is I would buy that Celtics to four even. I think that could be a crucial number. But other than that, good luck to my guy, Shedeur Sanders. I hate seeing a top talented athlete lose some of that momentum. I hope he gets down, gets into the grind, and becomes the athlete that we all know and expect him to be.
There we go. Yeah. And you know what, man? Like, not the worst thing in the world, to fall out of the first round. Pride, personally, I get it. Totally get it. But you can find yourself in a much better spot. You know what I mean? So we'll see today. Greg, any final thoughts before we get out of here?
Yeah, I think so too. I mean, it's not always the initial landing position. What if you're in a position on a team where you're never going to win more than 6 games? It's just not going to happen. There's spots when you'll fall into it, and maybe this is the best thing that happens to Sanders long term. With the kick in the butt, like you said, and some motivation, and coming into a camp where you're not the guy. You're still a guy, but you're not that guy as the top 3 pick like we'd first talked about. And we'll see how it goes. We'll see how he handles it. I'm sure Deion's done a good job with it, but it'll be interesting to see what happens. Hopefully he'll come motivated and pleased. But yeah, should be another great weekend. Really fun. 2-0 starts the morning. Went 2-0 in KBO to start our day, which is always fun overseas. And like you said, another big weekend of college baseball. We have a month left, and then playoffs will be here. So it should be a wild month ahead.
Yep, it should be. Look, hey, worked out for Aaron Rodgers falling in the first round. It didn't work out for Trevor Lawrence going super high. You know what I mean? So, yeah, hopefully, it just keeps perspective of what it is. All right. We're out of here. Everybody, have a wonderful Friday. We'll be live 3 p.m. Eastern for all the final picks for tonight. But until then, everybody, best of luck. Cash these tickets. We'll see you this afternoon. Thanks.
Who's got it better than us?